Hello everyone, my name is Mustafa Fahmi Hassan. I am a PhD student in Ghazi Atam University. This case study also supervised by Hanafi Chankachi. I'm glad today to explain a new geotechnical case study under titling Properties Variation of Soil-Cleat Column or Jet Grouting Column in Saturated and Dry Condition. As a general presentation, our outline consists of the introduction, properties of organic soil, method of improvement, jet grouting technique use, jet grouting procedure, aim of the study, methodology of our work, result and discussion. The final section will be conclusion of our study. As a general overview of organic soil, any soil that contains a significant amount of organic material recently derived from plant and animal remain. It's called organic soil. Technically, any material that contains carbon is called organic. The identification of organic soil are very important because they are much weaker and more compressible than inorganic soil. Organic material also facilitate drainage while retaining moisture. Properties of organic soil generally categorized as a physical properties and chemical properties. The physical properties, which consist of the color, bore density, and the soil structure, water holding, specific gravity, which is ranged from 1 to 2, and the optimum moisture specific gravity of organic soil are 1.5, and the bore density also ranges between 1.2 to 1.2. The chemical properties also consist of the soil pH, which is less than 5.5. It means that the organic soil are highly acidic. Buffering capacity and the third one is carbon nitrogen ratio is 20 to 1 for organic, which is mean higher than inorganic, which 12 to 1. In this slide presented that there are many different applications that use it to improve and stabilize the soil properties, such as removal and replacement, pre-compression, vertical drains, in-situ densification, grouting, stabilization using admixture, and reinforcement. And also in this study we are going to focus on the grouting technique use and this technique use, how it will be applied in the site, how it will be used, and the procedures how it will be going on in the sites. Jet grouting technique is categorized generally as two different names, for example, jet and grout. The jet is a fluid flow which is passing through a small opening with a very high speed. High pressure is needed to produce the kinetic energy required for the jet through a small diameter nozzle. Grout also we have a multi different grout materials, but the common one is cement mortar. Jet grout is a construction process that uses a high pressure that of fluid to break up a lotion of soil at depth in a borehole and to mix it with the self-hardened grout to column, panels, and other structure in the ground. In this slides presented that also jet grouting we can use it in different applications, for example corrosion preventing, foundation support, bracing, impervious shaft, deep foundation, water plugs, and tunnel construction. The procedure of jet grouting column, which consists of totally 5 steps. The general one, which starts from the area where the soil had to be treated, is chosen and hole is drilled to required depth. The depth depends upon how deep the weak subsoil exists. The second step is place the equipment over the drill hole to conduct the injection process. The equipment consists of a jet grouting string of almost 7 to 10 diameter. At the end of string, it possesses a nozzle in order to have injection at the higher velocity. The nozzle is small of diameter ranging from 1 mm to 10 mm. The third step, the string is raised and rotated slowly to seal a whole column surface with the soil and the fluid system that has to be injected. After that, a part of mud within the pit created and the fluid mix rises to the top, which is called the spoil. The fourth step, the rising of the string is done in between the pieces at the distance of 40 to 100 mm depending upon the depth of treatment. For each rising, a rotation is performed. The final steps is the speed of rotation of equipment is kept constant, which help in giving us a properly refined grouting column. The aim of our study is following as present the investigation of the strength index of jet grouting column in organic soil, which is carried out from Kayseri region of Turkey. In addition, this paper has covered the strength variation in random location of soil-crete column. On the other hand, the previous research utilized many alternative techniques to improve the geotechnical properties of organic soil. Therefore, the characteristically of this case study is presenting the jet grouting techniques to developing the geotechnical properties and variety of strength index regarding with random location in 1 meter depth to show the effective of grouting on the hardness properties of soil-crete column during the grouting in the organic soil. Another purpose of the study, the variation of durability of soil-crete column with the full-scale dimensions such as water absorption, density, and porosity has been investigated. This slide presented out the Google Map coordinates and the site of constructions that is shown in this figure. The methodology of our study categorized it as a material which is used organic soil, and the physical and chemical properties of the organic soil find it according to the ASTM requirement, which is the organic content. We can see that the organic content is exceeded 13% and the water content is 154.8. It means that fully saturated soil. The specific gravity also is 2.05 and the fiber content specified as a separate group, which is grouped from H7 to H10 according to the ASTM D 1997. The ash content also specified as a high ash. Why? Because it exceeded 87% according to the ASTM 2974. The acidity of the our organic soil that specified as a moderately acidic, which is the pH is less than 5.5 according to the ASTM D 1976. In the site working, we are grouted a water cement ratio 1 to construct a concrete column in organic according to the different requirement. For example, 400 bar used for a pressure and the pull out speed is 85 centimeter per minute. Also, the cement type that we use it to construct it jet grouting column uses cement type 1 and the R42.5. Water cement ratio is 1. Viscosity and fluidity of cement mortar is 33 and 70% respectively. Material sampling. After constructing the soil-crete column in the sites and then cured in the soil for a month, then try to extract it and transport it to the geotechnical laboratory of Ghazi Antab University. Then try to work on it to find out the 6 period samples, which is mean totally have 12 samples to find out the mechanical and durability properties of soil-crete column in saturated and dry conditions. The tests that we use it to find out the physical and chemical, mechanical and chemical property, durability properties of the soil-crete column, which is point dot test, water absorption test, density test, and porosity, and also all these tests are used according to the ASTM. Let me start with the point load test. In our results presented that the point load is used to find the strength index of soil-crete column in dry and saturated condition, and also in this figure show us that all samples, the strength of whole samples in saturated condition is higher than the dry condition, and this is presented that there is an organic fiber and the tensile of organic fiber increases with increasing water content of the sample and leads to decreasing the shrinkage. This is according to the study of Krikar in 2005. The water absorption of our study also presented the randomly changing after 1 meter depth, and the minimum result of the water absorption had been achieved at sample number 3, which is 31%. Besides that, the maximum value of water absorption had been achieved at sample number 1, which is 49%. The dry density, the minimum dry density had been achieved at sample number 1, which is 0.8 gram per centimeter cube. That means the porosity rate of test specimen was high. The maximum value of dry density had been achieved at sample number 3, which is 1.6 gram per centimeter cube. That means the porosity rate had been gaining the minimum value, and the porosity percentage had been randomly changing in 1 meter depth soilcrete. Why? Because the particle size of our organic is non-uniform, so that the grouting, the soilcrete column during the grouting in the organic soil, it will not be homogeneously. That's why we'll see the increasing and decreasing, it will be non-uniformly. The minimum results had been achieved at sample number 3, which is 32%, and the maximum percentage of porosity had been achieved at sample number 1, which is 79%. The conclusion of our study is presented that the investigation a significant variation in all measurement values such as strength and depth, water absorption, density, and porosity. These variations were investigated in 1 meter depth of hardness soilcrete column in full dimensions. In addition, the strength and depth of soilcrete column in a saturated condition higher than dry conditions. Why? Because of the presenting organic fiber in a column, which lead to increasing the bonding in the column. The strength and depth of soilcrete column was roughly increased with increasing density. On the other hand, the percentage of water absorption was decreased with increasing the dry density of specimen. The present study investigated a good relation between a density, porosity, and strength. Therefore, when the density of specimen is increased at the same location, generally a porosity decreases, and the strength had been achieved a high value. But the point is, the variation is not uniform. And also, all these literature review that supported our case study. Finally, thanks for your all attentions.